Hey guys, Dwayne here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about passion. And I was thinking about this just going through, just doing a review of the last few weeks and few months and looking at a lot of what people have said in the comments and just some of the conversations that I've had. And one of the things that I started thinking about is taking a step back and trying to look at what exactly has helped me to get through this and to find a way to get through the day and to push through, right? I mean, one of it is just, the hope that things are going to change. But the other thing is to have passion for something, to have something that you're interested in and that occupies your time. We get so focused on what's happening right in this moment, right? In this second, in this instant, and we lose track of everything else that's going on. Now, sometimes not the system, but the situation, because of finances and because of, just limitations on your ability to do things, it can actually inhibit a lot of the things you're trying to do because you feel like you can't do anything. But, bottom line is one of the biggest keys and one of the biggest ways to move past some of this is to find something else to focus on besides the situation, which I get that is really hard. When you're right in the middle of it and you're fighting that fight, it's really tough because, how do you think about anything else when you have this situation or this albatross around your neck that you just can't seem to get away from? But bottom line is it ultimately is our own decision on what we decide to do, on how we decide to react to it, on how we decide to deal with the situation. Now, I've always been a really passionate person about the different things I get involved in. And I, when I dive into something, I dive in full force. And I'll tell you guys, whenever this whole thing started 4 years or 5 years ago, I was lost. I mean, it interfered with everything. And to be honest, one of the things that I actually, so this is kind of an interesting story, I guess, but I've always been interested in photography, and I've done some photography stuff on the sides, and I have experience doing that type of thing semi-professionally and amateurly and all those different things for, the last 20 plus years. And initially, when I first moved out, I thought, hey, this will be great. I'll have an opportunity to focus on doing that. I'll have this house with nothing in it that I can use as a set, and I'll have time, right? I'll have time where I won't be fighting with the ex, that I can actually do something on that. Now, the problem is, and you guys have probably experienced this as well, is going into the initial declarative part of the divorce, she brought up that I had all this expensive equipment and photography equipment that she wanted her half of, or at least wanted it all itemized. So it got to the point, especially when I was drowning in debt with the attorneys, that I didn't know if I was going to have to sell it or what I was going to have to do. And it made me so angry and frustrated that I didn't use anything. I put it all up. I put it away because I thought I was going to have to sell it to pay for attorneys. And I did not want to be in a situation where I was looking at everything that I was losing, if you want to call it that, and in my mindset, she took that thing away. Now, I had somebody at the time advise me to just use it, just do it anyways. But I got so wrapped up in the fight, so wrapped up in the possibility of what might happen, that I wouldn't do it, right? And that started a cascade effect of negativity that stuck with me for a really long time. There were a lot of things I didn't do. Like, I also was into music and didn't have, I think I had, all the stuff I had gotten rid of prior to moving out, and I only had one little thing and, or one guitar to use. And I just, it's like the passion had been drained from me. The situation made it nearly impossible for me to be able to try to enjoy something different. Now, in looking back at it, I can see now that it was a huge mistake. I should have brought those cameras out and did things with them. I should have messed with the guitar. There's other things I should have done, but But you have to be really careful that you don't let the situation overwhelm you. And that's hard. Well, it's easy for me to say. It's a lot harder to do because the situation is overwhelming. It is. It's frustrating. You don't know what's going to happen. So part of the situation is they're able to use that fear of the unknown and not knowing what's going to happen and not knowing how it's going to turn out and not knowing what you're going to lose. And, it paralyzes you with fear. It paralyzed me. I couldn't bring myself to do certain things. And then when I did go out with friends, I was so wrapped up in the situation that all I would ever talk about is what was going on, which I am really grateful that those friends didn't finally just say, you know what, why don't you call me in a couple of years whenever things calm down. Luckily, they didn't do it. I mean, I was very fortunate that I had a really good support group, but I just felt trapped in this circle. And I know you guys are going through the same thing because I know how this works, especially when you don't really know what's going on because you're so confused, you're so scared, you're so just perplexed by what's going on and it just doesn't make any sense. See, when I was going through this, I thought that she was going after the stuff, right? After her entitlement, after her half. But that's really not what it was. It was control. It was emotional control. It was to make sure that I was stuck and trapped in this situation and in this moment. And there's a good possibility that that's exactly the same situation that you're in. So if there is any chance that you can take a step back and think about this situation in a little bit different terms and try to reconnect with something that you're passionate about. And, maybe it's just doing stuff with the kids. Maybe that's what your passion is. Maybe it's coming up with things that whenever you have your children, that you find ways to have a good time with them, to do things to make good memories with them that aren't predicated on what the ex may or may not do or what your resources are, where you just basically focus on giving them your time. Bottom line, guys, I got so focused on how the ex would react to whatever I did, to whatever I was doing, whatever I was using, and I wasted a lot of time and I slowed my own progress down because that's the direction I took. And then it negatively impacted everything else I was doing. And just like I said in the beginning of this video, it just causes this cascade effect of negativity that's hard to get out of. So all I really want to say on this is if there's something that brings you joy, that brings you happiness, whatever that might be, if it's photography like in my case, or now I like doing these videos, I am really passionate about doing these videos, or if it's, doing special trips with your kids or whatever it is, if it's playing music or if it's learning something, whatever it is that brings you joy, focus on that and make sure that you're giving yourself the time to do stuff like that so you can heal, so you can get better. Is there a chance that your ex might be able to do something to interfere with it or to try to knock the wind out of your sails? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But just you have to find a way to negate that. You have to find a way to eliminate that power that person has over you. And I get it, guys. I get that is so much easier to say than to do, right? I mean, like take for instance, if I would have been doing the photography thing and taking pictures and using that equipment, and then she forced me to have to sell it to give her half the money from it, that would have been a really bitter pill to swallow. And I should have went ahead and used it, and if it came down to it, just said, and found some other way to continue that passion. We give them all this power over us. And I'm not saying that to poke you in the eye, because I did it myself. I spent many years going around that treadmill, going around in circles in that infinite do loop, for anybody who actually writes code, and getting nowhere. And I did that. That was a decision I made, right? And I could have done something different. In my earlier videos, I know if you guys have watched them where I talked about doing stuff with your kids and stuff, I had a blast with my kids and was doing really well in the beginning with nothing, an empty house. We were able to play hide and seek and do different things inside the house with nothing in it and had really good times, made really good memories. The problem is when things started going south, I let it emotionally impact me and affect me in a way that took basically all the joy out of everything that I was doing. And as a result, it impacted my relationship with the kids. So if you find yourself in this situation, if you find yourself mad, if you find yourself relating to this, if you're in this situation right now where you're going, wow, man, Dwayne, I can absolutely relate, or no, I can't think about what you're saying because I'm stuck in the middle of it and she's controlling everything. Guys, I was there. I know how it feels. I get it, but you owe it to yourself. I mean, it's a victory. I mean, you're basically, if you want to look at it this way, you're taking your finger and you're sticking it in her eye, or his eye, depending on your situation, that you are still able to have a life, that they are not able to control you, that you are slowly or rapidly, or however you want to say it, getting away from them and eliminating the control they have over you. On that, I'm going to wrap this video up. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. If you want to comment about how some of the things that you think you could do to help your situation, or that you did do in your situation to try to make it better, leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, please subscribe. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.